Get full episodes of The Damage Report as a podcast on iTunes and Android, and you can watch the live show every weekday on YouTube TV. Down in Indiana, Mike Pence's brother Greg is jumping into politics, attempting to become the congressman in Indiana's 6th district. Standing in his way is Jeannie Lee Lake, who joins us now on The Damage Report. Jeannie, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, John. I'm glad to be here today.
We're glad to have you. So I want to start off. People are much more familiar with Mike Pence. How does Greg compare? Is he a better or worse Pence?
Well, I think he said there's no daylight between myself and my views and that of my brother's views and that of Donald Trump's views. So, I let people take it from there.
Okay, well, now I'm scared. So thank you for that.
Right.
So I want to talk about your candidacy. So I read that your background is actually in reporting. So first of all, I want to make sure that that's the case. But if it is, how does that influence your campaigning now that you've moved over to the political side?
Well, yes, I've been a newspaper reporter for 30 years. I got my degree from Ball State University, and I worked with a variety of newspapers all over the country, everywhere from Muncie and the Star Press to USA Today with Gannett. And now I own my own newspaper. It's called The Good News, and it's a bi-monthly newspaper that looks at coverage of minorities and also people of faith.
Okay, well, that sounds very positive. I do want to ask you, with sort of the anti-media atmosphere that we've had in our country now for a couple of years, you're running now. What do you think about the fact that it seems like many politicians are starting to use negative sentiment towards the media to mobilize their voters? What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's really sad where we're at now with regards to the president of the United States on a continual basis attacking the media. Mm-hmm. As a 30-year journalist, I've been a person that I've prided myself, on providing objective news, true and accurate news, as is the case of most every journalist I've ever met along 3 lines, along 30 years. A long time ago, there used to be a little moniker that said, if your mother tells you that she loves you, go and get 3 sources. And we always took that very seriously. So to be continuously degraded and insulted as if we are not clear-thinking adults that know the difference between the truth and a lie is extremely insulting to me, not only as a citizen, but as a newspaper reporter and as a journalist that really cares about my profession. And, as a member of the 4th Estate, I've been very proud, and I still am very proud to be a reporter.
Yeah. So you're in a state that previously has been quite Republican, supportive of Donald Trump previously. Now you're out there making the case with, I would say, a platform that's very different from his in terms of some important issues, especially your approach to what should happen with healthcare in America and Indiana specifically. So as you're making that case, I'm always curious, what are people getting fired up about going into this election?
Well, healthcare is the number one thing that I've seen, and it affects so many different areas. We just spent an evening last night in Scott County where they're having a terrible opioid epidemic at this point. They've also had just a season where they've dealt with HIV crisis down there, as well as Hep C. These are people that need Medicare for all. We are a proponent of that. We've been saying that since the very beginning of this campaign. That tackles mental health care issues, which a lot of people are self-medicating with these opioids. Yeah. That handles just a variety of different things. That's what I'm hearing more than anything on the campaign trail right now. And people are excited to be able to, hear a candidate that is actually willing to talk about the issues. One of the issues of my campaign is that I'm actually running against a phantom candidate. He does have this name as Pence, but he is unwilling to debate me. I've been running for 16 months. I've rarely seen him at any events. I hear that he's at events that have a wealthy donors, I guess a $25,000 a plate and that kind of thing. But yeah. So he's really hard. It's kind of hard to run against a person that you really don't know their views. Because quite honestly, the only thing I can go by is what the president said and what the terrible RFRA kind of legislation that his younger brother Mike Pence tried to slam into Indiana a few years ago.
Well, if he's saying that he's very similar to his to Mike Pence, to his brother, I think that we have a good idea of what he actually stands for, and hopefully people will look into your positions on the issues, your proposals, and see that there's a gigantic distinction there, whether he wants to debate you or not.
Well, thank you. I hope so, because I'm definitely the very antithesis of the Trump Pence agenda, Greg Pence, and all of the. I believe that those cruel type of policies and legislation that they stand for. This administration, in my opinion, they herald themselves, at least the vice president does, as a person of faith. But I'm here to tell you, John, those kind of policies and things that they're implementing now, separating children from their mother's arms, the attacks on not only the media but attacks on women, some of the insulting ways they have degraded. I believe the prettier part of the population is calling them dogs, fat. Pigs, horse face, whatever it is, the things that are coming out of the Oval Office, those are words that really have an impact on our children and how we perceive one another. And I'm wanting to bring in more civility into Washington D.C. and Congress.
Well, and hopefully in just 7 days you'll be able to do that. Jeannie Lee Lake, thank you for joining us on the Damage Report.
Thank you very much, John. It was great to be here.
Thank you very much for watching this clip from the Damage Report. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell on YouTube to get notifications of our new videos. And of course, you can catch the full Damage Report live every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on TYT Network on YouTube TV.